Let's do some Chat from the Deep. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Chat from the Deep, our weekly live stream post-session discussion where we talk about what just happened during D&D. This is the chat for session 20, so if you don't watch that session yet, please go do that because there will be spoilers. I'm your DM, Eric, and joining me we have Gottwald's player, Chris.
Hello.
Max player, Raymond. And I'm very curious to get feedback from this episode in this area because this is the most custom part of the campaign we have reached. This was all inspired by a few paragraphs in the Call from the Deep book. And then I really liked it. Call from the Deep has, set, adventure pieces and stuff, and then has some side content has its own dungeons. And I went with something else that was in a location that did not have any side content. Kind of like some of the when you did Storm King's Thunder and has like, here's these locations with like a few paragraphs. This is one of those things. But I liked the idea. I liked how the quest investigation goes. I liked everything about it. And so I wanted to run with it. And literally the week that I'm like, I got to get a map or a series of maps. My initial idea was I'm going to do a series of maps and then string them together. One of the map makers that I'm subscribed to on Patreon released like fucking Swamp Village map. And I was like, holy shit. When I looked at it, I was like,
I can use this. I can roll with this.
This entire map is perfect.
Yeah.
So big shout out to Seafoot Games. And then I turned it into an Earth moat with a lot of custom like assets and shit.
Okay. So like the fact that it's
normally just a square map. And then I cut into it with these like art, like sky art maps, and then also used cliffs from Gabriel Picard's Sky Isle Mapper art asset.
Wait, how did you do that? So the cliff, the edges of the cliff edges are not actually part of the swamp?
That is correct. I'm so glad it's
damn. Good job, sir. That's impressive.
Yes, thank you.
Oh, that is fucking seamless.
Thank you. This is. Yeah, I'm.
Although now that I'm going around it, I can see like where you've done it, like right down here. Yeah, okay, yeah.
Yeah, you can see.
Now that I know that you've done it, I'm like looking like where
there's little fucked up parts. Yeah. But yeah, the whole thing is a square. So I made the map bigger than the map, if that makes sense. Like the Roll20 map bigger than this map. Moved it over to where there's an edge around the square, and then I started cutting into the square with these blank air pieces of map.
Okay.
And then overlaid the cliff around it to make it look like it's kind of this chunk of.
Damn, that looks good.
Thank you.
I assumed if you had asked me, I would have assumed it would have been the other way around, where you had like a Sky Island map and you had to turn it into a swamp.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
Like that seems like less work to me.
I was thinking of that too because there are some Sky Isle maps out there, but none of them quite fit.
What you needed?
Yeah, kind of what I needed, which was a swampy village, really. So it was actually easier to take that map and then turn it into a flying Earth moat. But like my initial idea was just to like, I was going to give up on even doing that. I was like, let's just do small set piece maps and we'll just describe the fact that they're on an Earth moat. But man, doing this and giving you the visual of like, oh shit, they're like up in the air. Now, granted, there's probably not going to be clouds as you guys aren't like super high up, but it looks good. It looks good, right? It gives you that visibility like, oh yeah, we're up in the air and not like in the water or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's awesome. But this map is from Seafoot Games, so big shout out to them. And then with assets from Gabriel Picard's Sky Isle Mapper.
Okay, nice. I mean, it even came into play mechanically a couple times with like when the air elemental was over that like sky section right there in the middle. Like, oh well, no one's gonna go out and like.
Without jumping ahead too much, I will say if you hadn't gotten those packs off, I actually had it scripted to where it will essentially run away so fast, which is a 90 fly speed, by the way. Yeah. That it will not be in combat anymore. It could just disappear off the map, and then it would reappear. You have to like go hunt this thing down, and like here another building gets destroyed, and you got to go over to that area, and it becomes this like cat and mouse thing,
which is very Ghostbusters, isn't it?
Like and I debated on it. And if you remember during that first round, I was like, oh wait, I want to take it back. Because I was gonna like I should have him move and do more of that, but I was like, he just moved in to attack him. I'll leave him there for now.
Oh right, yeah.
And then you guys were able to start shutting him down, so. I was okay with it, but just in case, I had planned to have him at least go one more combat round, like spawning the Sturges, and then it would escape. But I like the fact that you started getting the beams going, and it just kind of worked pretty well for that moment, I think. And doing a shit ton of damage to it right off the bat. These elementals have a ton of health. But let's start at the beginning, which was we crashed the airship down, and then we got to deal with the inhabitants of the swamp.
Mm-hmm.
Which, again, I just decided that we just had a battle with the Sturge, like the Sturge waves. I don't want to just jump into this whole area as like a big hostile dungeon crawl. But I didn't want to also just make it a simple social scene. So I kind of was like, all right, well, there's a problem.
Yeah.
And the problem is the lizard folk are in bad shape and they're being oppressed by one of their own, like the leader. And I love, Ray, that you jumped on it immediately with the situation that I was presenting in terms of like how to handle it socially and like, oh shit, like there's one villain here, but you guys are cool. Like you fucking played it perfectly, which made me very pleased.
Good.
You're like, we gotta like, nope, this one's the bad guy. We gotta go take you down.
Yeah, good descriptors of the contrast between them. So
I like that you immediately know how to spin too. Like you immediately spun we were chasing an air elemental, and we know he was dangerous. So we came here to save you from him.
Pretty funny. Yeah,
I know. I was looking at my character profile. I was like, truthful. What's one of his qualities? I'm like, oh no, I'm.
Perhaps
little
traits can evolve over time, and maybe you've picked up a few skills and learned to be more subtle and clandestine.
That's always a problem too, with like when what you decided is your character's personality conflicts with what you're good at as a player.
Yeah,
you know, it's just like, but I'm really good at like coming up with these bullshit stories to throw people off.
When we first started, Mac was very like sheepish and even cowardly in ways, and now we've like evolved to where he's gained which it could be part of the arc too.
Sure.
That's true.
Gain more confidence and more certain of how to
do
deal with
more
folks.
stuff.
Yeah. Especially after the big harbor battle of Neverwinter, we really got to come in and be the hero and like, okay, we got to save people and help people. And so I thought that was nice.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that was a similar situation where it could have been less of a fight there in terms of the witch doctor could have backed off with her bodyguards and ran into her house and boarded it up, and we would have like stopped combat, and you guys could go do other things before going and dealing with her.
Oh yeah.
But I think I kind of suspected like once she was like, all right, I'm going to start like combat, you guys would probably be able to run in and shut her down in some ways, and
yeah,
that was kind of true. Although I did have a retreat at the very end, and if you notice, we kind of did an interesting thing where it's like, all right, there's still a hostile person around, but maybe they're not quite as hostile, so I'm going to take you guys out of combat, and we're kind of going to play it cinematically now.
Right. I like that too.
But again, Raymond picked up immediately.
We're offering you mercy, lady. Like take the mercy.
And I did have one person surrender. He's like, yeah, I'm not fucking... But I did have it in my notes that like the bodyguards would surrender, but the one lady would be loyalist to the end and would do the classic villain thing of like, oh, I'll surrender now, fuck you.
No, I won't.
Suicide by cop. Because
exactly.
I'm glad I didn't have to roll for that one.
Right.
I thought about it, but I was like, you know what? It's a cinematic moment. We can just make it happen. It's
one of those things where if you had him roll, like if he had failed, you just would have attacked again and killed her. So
that's something you kind of learn as a DM.
Yeah.
Like you make people roll too often. It's like, you know what? This is the better result is that you just you've already got a bead, and I have no problem with you doing that.
Yeah,
I also
it's down pretty low. Also,
yeah.
I also enjoyed the particular umbrage that Heather took with another necromancer being on the table.
I was wondering how she would roleplay it, actually, because I didn't know how she would.
Yeah.
And
it seemed like she just wanted to prove that she was the better necromancer.
Yeah, which was pretty funny. I liked that angle. I thought it was pretty funny with the zombie on zombie thing. It just turned into this like she's like playing an RTS now, basically, or like a battle, like really Battlefield Commander. She's like scampered up a wall and was like, "All right, you're doing this. We got the AOE here, and I'm gonna attack."
Yeah, in terms of her like character, like build now mechanically, like the zombies being able to attack is great. Like you got 2 extra attacks, but stuff like having the zombie pull the Sturge off of you, that stuff's like really cool. Like okay, you've got 2 other
extra actions.
2 other extra actions you can use. Because like that's why I attack myself with the Sturges, because if I attack myself, I have another attack.
I
But
see.
if I just spend my entire action pulling the Sturge off,
Yeah.
I don't do any damage to the Sturge,
Yep.
and that's the only thing I can do that turn.
You
so it's like,
need minions.
So my option
you
is
need to get on with this minion program.
I need some minions. Yeah, that's it. Yep.
Ironically, you were the one with like the minion last time with Lord Marbury, and now you're
Right.
the only one with that one.
Because even Reese has little tentacles you could summon.
That's true.
It's yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so this ended up being a fun little battle. I did make a little zombie gator as a custom zombie stat block. Obviously, none of the zombies are that strong, but
Right.
you guys still absolutely kicked ass. What I didn't realize was that the Undead Fortitude, which I mentioned in the stream, holy shit, with the Sharpshooter being a major advantage against that, because the way Undead Fortitude works is it checks the damage done and makes that and bakes that into the DC. Well, if you're doing like 20 damage as your killing blow, I got no chance of coming back from that.
Yep. I feel like that's one of those abilities that like is really scary, like pre-level 6, pre-level 5, maybe. Like, because like you aren't
That's
doing
true.
10 plus damage each
Yeah.
turn. But after like level 6 and 7, like everybody's doing plus 10.
Well, it depends on
on an
the. I
attack.
feel like a rogue in a ranger with sharpshooter, like certain builds are just doing big burst damage, or like a paladin.
Sure.
Whereas I think if you were a monk doing like flurry of blows, or like you're doing 10
Maybe,
damage, 10 damage, 10
yeah.
damage, that's where Undead Fortitude can kind of fuck you up. Because it's like, oh, I can
Right.
come back up by a DC 11 or 12 or something.
yeah.
But yeah, I can't deal with these like DC 25.
Right. That's not gonna happen.
That was bananas. So yeah, you guys, you kicked ass in there, but I got some pretty good licks in, and honestly, I'm pretty satisfied with how the attrition weared on you through that battle, and then also through the air elemental fight as well.
I got fucked up because of the roll 20 glitch again. I was looking at my bars, had 40. I had 40 hit points, and then you did like 20 something to me,
Yeah.
and I clicked on my character, and he only had like
Oh,
like
like
28 or something. Like the health bar.
Well, my
wasn't
concern
accurate.
was when you decided to attack yourself to get it off with the axe, which
Yeah.
now that you brought it up, like that gives you multi-type, but you only had like 20 health or something,
I know,
or whatever it
yeah.
was, and then you
I
like
think that-
no, you had like 15, and you did an axe attack with like 14 damage,
Seven.
and I was like, my god, man, you're crazy. He's like a barbarian rage. He's like, ah,
I can take it. Yep.
Like, you're getting pretty low.
Yeah. I didn't realize how low I was getting, but yes.
Yeah, I got
And so in the,
good.
I was gonna jump to something else.
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, whenever Cheese was about to catch the elemental,
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking about doing this cool cinematic. That's why I was like hesitating. I'm like, what should I do? I was gonna have him jump off the bridge and catch it midair, and I one shot only to catch it. But then I realized like I won't get the box back.
Because he would just fly off into the abyss. I
Fly
guess
off
is the
into the
idea.
sky.
That would be awesome, but that would be a conundrum because
It would've been awesome,
you
yeah.
need that to
'Cause-
power the ship that gets you
Right,
back.
right.
Yeah.
Because I mean, Cheese, I can summon him back. I'm
No,
like, I
yeah,
can
that's a good
sacrifice
point.
him.
Oh, but the box won't come back.
The
Yeah.
box won't come back. So
I'd probably have to rule it like, oh, and then he like flings the box while he flies into the abyss.
I know.
Because
I'm trying to figure out how to do it, but and then we read the rule that it only has to be 10 feet. So I'm like, all right.
yeah, I was pretty
Yeah,
generous
yeah.
about the spacing because I realized it could end up being a pain in the ass with the spacing if you had to be really precise on it. So yeah, I did plan on the air elemental ambushing you guy again, not even because of stealth, because it has a 90-foot fly speed.
Yeah.
And if you're in the open area where it can attack from all directions, even below you, like it's just coming at you and can do whatever it wants.
Right.
So it was always designed to ambush you on the bridge.
Yeah. Good thing we saved against it. Could have blown us off the island.
Yes.
That's scary. Yeah.
I'm still not sure what I would do if that happened. We talked about in the crafting thing. I was like, I'm not even worried about doing it's horrendous damage, obviously, if you fall. The big worry is like, you're gone now.
I mean, and the odds weren't great. You'd have to fail to save, then you have to.
Correct.
It's like a random direction,
Yes,
right?
it is
you
random
really have to-
direction.
like it was only like one of the directions that would have thrown
Yes.
you into the gap.
Yes. Yeah,
But
that
still,
would
the
have
odds
been
were
the dice
that
telling the
there
story.
was a chance.
There was a chance.
There
There
was
was a chance.
there.
There's always a chance. Yep. That would have been crazy. But you did end up using inspiration, I believe, to make the save,
Mm-hmm.
which was a
I
good
figure
use.
whatever that 19 damage or whatever.
Yeah, and I would have kept trying to do its recharge. That's its best fun ability, but I think I just missed the second round. And then the third round, I did kind of do a little bit of all right, well, because it's got the beam on it, I'll give it like disadvantage on doing that. And
Yeah.
that ended up losing its thing as well. But that was just me like, let's leave it up to the dice.
Actually, looking at the map, 2 directions would have thrown him into the gap. North and northwest would have tossed him into that
So he was
hole.
about like here or so.
He was about where I am now.
Sorry,
Yeah,
but you
exactly.
are. Yeah, okay. Because is it 20 feet or 10 feet that it tosses?
Oh, that's good. I
It
don't
was
remember.
20, I thought.
20? Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, it's pretty hard to put you anywhere else. Yeah, 20 feet.
So yeah, it was a good thing you saved.
What did you think about the the proton packs and the?
That's
box?
fun. Was that all you? It's just you
Oh,
like
yeah.
having a Ghostbuster moment?
Yeah. My initial thought was to just go pure Pokemon with it and be like, here's a kind of the equivalent of a Chardalyn Band of Binding. But I wanted the idea of, because that's where the weaken thing comes from. Like, you got to weaken it to be able to capture it in the
Yeah.
Pokeball. So initially I was just going to be like, all right, well, here's one, like, your quest is just to find it and attack it, but not kill it, and then be able to throw this Pokeball thing and capture it that way. But then I forget how it came up or if I came up with it, but we're like, well, let's go with this whole Ghostbusters system of like packs that can slow it down. And then I'm thinking, well, we need to replace the Pokeball with the box thing that
Yeah.
which you guys picked up immediately. And
I liked that. I thought it was fun. It was a fun mechanic, and we certainly engaged with it pretty quickly. Like we were like, all right, let's give Cheese the box, and
Yeah.
you guys hold the rays, and yeah, let's do it.
I like the idea of the air elemental getting loosened in the village and just adding another complication for you guys to deal with. And then I initially thought, okay, well, maybe Spellix can just maybe he's got an item that can just summon more elementals. He doesn't care, but the elemental's still a problem. He's in the village, but doesn't really care about capturing it. I was like, nah, it's not
Oh,
interesting.
yeah.
How about you guys have to capture the elemental, then we
Right.
develop the Pokeball thing, and then we develop the Ghostbusters thing on top of that,
Yeah.
and I come up with these.
Definitely more fun for a ghost-like creature. to do that
It
way.
worked really well for the air elemental, didn't it? Because it is basically ghost-like, but just more like physical and honestly more dangerous in an area where you can be blown the fuck off and fall 100 feet to the ground.
Yeah. It is water under us, though. Like we're 100 feet above the
You're 100
ocean,
feet
right?
above water, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you're being
Which,
over
I mean,
water.
100 falling 100 feet into water is probably still not good.
I mean, you're still taking the same 10 feet falling damage. I
yeah,
believe, but
yeah,
what is that, 100? It's a 10d6.
yeah.
Which sounds bad, but is really an average of 30 damage, so it depends on how damaged you are.
Right. Like, yeah, depending on who you are and how damaged
Yeah,
you are, you're not.
You could
you're
fall
not
100
dying
feet
from
and
it.
be, okay. But yeah, I think we covered. The one thing I had no idea how far we'd make in this session because I didn't have much. This wasn't like a traditional room-to-room dungeon crawl situation. I had like just problems and complications, and then I didn't know how exactly you guys would solve them and how much the social stuff would last. If the air elemental would have to pop up in multiple battles,
Yeah.
you know, how all that would work. I was confident you guys would not make it to the stronghold yet. To where I still need to prep that. But I had basically the village stuff prepped. The only other thing I have prepped is, well, I guess I won't say anything yet because we haven't gotten to it yet. But
Oh yeah.
yeah, otherwise we went through all that, and I'll have to do more prep work for this area this coming week because it's all a lot of custom stuff. And
Yeah. Yeah. Nice.
I gotta make a wand item. Yeah, I don't know what made me think of that sword, which I'm so happy you immediately were like. Well, you're immediately like, oh, fuck this sword. And then, like, throughout the session, you're like, this sword's awesome.
So useful.
Yeah. But I don't know what made me think of it. I was looking at, like, items or something in my journal, and it just fucking, like, I had a light bulb and was like, oh, shit, there was this fucking sword. And I looked at my notes, and I have it written down in my notes that, like, yeah, the captain is holding this sword. He never really got to use it because you guys, like, kicked his ass really quick.
Right.
And then I don't know if it was like the end of the session or something. We all kind of forgot about it. And then we had like a whole nother session, which was a big battle. So it kind of makes sense where it got lost in the rung. But just none of you remembered it. I didn't remember it. None of the chat remembered it for like 3 or 4 sessions. I don't know what session you have to go back on. The one where you guys arrived in Neverwinter Harbor.
Yeah, like the first fight.
The first of that arc. Yeah.
A while
and then
ago.
and so we would have never remembered it, except I just for some reason got reminded of it. And then we're like, all right, somebody can have this.
Yeah.
Which I think is Mac's first attuned item.
Oh wow.
How about the Cloak of the Manta Ray?
Is not attuned, not attunement.
That's crazy.
required. Yeah.
Okay.
I still don't understand the
Yeah.
design
when they
behind which
choose
ones
to
are,
do
which
that.
ones aren't.
Yeah.
Somebody smarter than me can figure it out, but yeah, because I've got magic items written down to try to be like equitable between folks, and then I've also got attunement items written down so we can keep track of that in my notes. I should just keep it track in the journal too. That would be way handier. I'll probably add that on there.
Oh God, Demnix, don't tell Heather that.
What is the? Get ready to have another 2 zomboids by the end of the day. Oh man, because she can do it like every day.
Or they last for 24 hours, so every time she gets
she loses control of them until she casts a spell again.
Right. But if she's able to cast a spell again, it's not concentration, is it?
No, it's not concentration.
Okay, so you could conceivably cast that spell a number of times and just have multiple zombies.
Yeah, but how many spell slots does she have?
It's
a third level. It's a third level spell.
Right.
So
she has to keep recasting the spell at 24 hours to maintain control of them. And then maybe she could cast to catch another 2, but every 24 hours you have to like cast.
Just do it again. Yeah.
It does say that the one casting can assert control over up to 4 creatures.
Oh wow! Okay.
So it does kind of limit you there. But 4 is still a lot.
It's still a lot.
Yeah.
How many third level spell slots does she have?
That's a good question. Let's see. As a 6th level wizard, it looks like she has 3 right now.
Okay. That's 6 right there.
Yeah.
No, well, to maintain control, you should only have 4.
Oh right, yeah. Unless, well, I mean, 24
hours
hours is you can long rest and get those spell slots back, and
you're right.
So it takes you 1 casting to summon more zombies, right? She can do up to 2, I think, per.
I get to 2, yeah.
And then when 24 hours elapses, you would have to spend a spell slot to assert control over
4.
So you would cast a spell to cast 2 more, and then you would cast a spell to assert control over 4 of them.
Yep.
So assuming all of her zombies stay alive, at some point in the future, she could have 12 zombies running around.
Just running around.
If you spent your all 3 spell slots.
All 3 spell slots every day.
Just
maintaining.
That may be a build. I don't know. That would be specific areas where it would be good and specific areas where it would be useless.
That's a build, but that's also like a 1 fireball just ruins.
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah, there's like certain situations where that's really useful, but
1 bad AoE on these zombies that don't have a ton of life is just the end.
That's hilarious. And I don't know if her necromancer ability it makes them more powerful. I don't know if it does anything else as she levels up.
I think it gave him a little bit more health too, but
more health, yeah.
Do they have undead fortitude?
That's a good question. I don't know.
That is a good question. Well, they would. It just says they become the one thing she can choose, or maybe she can't choose. It depends if she targets bones or a zombie. She either gets a skeleton or a zombie. So yeah, if it's the zombie stat block, then it's the same thing. It's got the undead fortitude.
Yeah. Okay. So they could get fireballed and still survive.
Well, they could, but a fireball usually does a shit ton of damage.
That's true.
So
yeah.
You DC, 5 plus like 20, and then you're pretty much done. So.
Yep.
Yeah, that's gonna be fun. And like I said, it's funny that she wasn't sure about the character, but it's like you really haven't been a necromancer until now. Like now you get which is a problem with the game design.
You've been kind of a generic wizard up until this moment.
Yeah, it's too bad you don't get like a little shitty starter necromancer, skeleton pet or something at lower levels.
Yeah, exactly.
You have to wait all the way till 6th for it to come online, but
they need to like build something like what she was doing already in. Like you get a version of Mage Hand, but it's a skeleton hand that does whatever you want. Something like that.
Yeah, that's her undead attorney. 16 cloaks. Yeah, just cloak them all. Just these are me and my 16 good friends. They're all synchronized together. No problems there.
That's right.
Yeah, she's a big fan of dead bodies now because those are just potential friends. All right. Anything else for Chat from the Deep? Looking forward to more things I can throw at you all. You actually took a pretty good beating, but I don't think we've short rested all this adventuring day, so
yeah, I need it. I need it bad.
You do need it pretty bad. Which makes me feel good. It's good when they get through some battles and you're like, ooh, I need to recharge my batteries.
Yep.
All right, I think that will do it for Chat from the Deep. Thank you to Chris and Raymond. Thank you to all the wonderful fans for watching, and we will see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.